Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
So, welcome everybody to this new session of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. Sorry, yes, there is noise from somebody. Okay, you know that this session is being recorded, and if you keep with us, you are accepting it. Okay, we will publish it both in the channels of the European Cluster Alliance and on those of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. So today we had another plan. Okay, we were going to speak about the defense ecosystem, but by last minute personal reasons, it has not been possible. Okay, and we made this just yesterday. Sorry, it's part of our flexibility and resilience. Okay, just yesterday we decided to modify the topic for today, and the proposal is to speak about the joint cluster initiatives between ourselves, between clusters. Most probably we will not have people from the European Commission because they must remain neutral, you know. So we don't expect to have with us today Marek or other members of the, at least of the cluster unit. Anyway, it will be the same. Okay, it's not that we could not speak the same topics, but that way they don't involve themselves in the promotion of this kind of I would say consortia. So if you are here expecting to speak about defense, please be aware that that will not be the case. Okay, sorry for the problem. I think Nina, it is planified for next week, if I am right. No, is that right?
Yes, we moved the session to next week, Tuesday, so on the 15th, and we will get another chance to speak about the defense.
Okay, so that is clear, I hope. So today we are not going so much to explain one topic. It's more like a work group, okay, or an exploratory group about possibilities on these joint cluster initiatives. If you attended the session that we celebrated some days ago on the single market programs, I think it was past week, these joint cluster initiatives are included in this SMP program, okay? But they were announced by the Commissioner Thierry Breton just something like 1 year ago. I don't remember the exact date, okay, but it was May, probably 20 something or May, when the Commissioner Breton announced the launch of the Euroclusters initiatives. Okay, so they were planified. And as I said, there is a very common confusion between those Euroclusters and the current InnoSoup projects. Okay, so one important clarification is that they are not the same. Okay, they are using, they will use a similar scheme for cascade funding, but the framework of the InnoSoup projects is the Horizon 2020, and the framework for the Euroclusters program is the SMP initiative. So we are not speaking about the same, but yes, about the same kind of funding scheme. Okay. You have the reference of the SMP. It's very easy to find it. Okay, it's a first ever common financial program to boost the single market. Okay, it's true that it's still not very well known, but you have the full recording in our ECA YouTube channel now, and I don't know if it is published yet or not in the ECCP. If not, it will be published very soon, and you can review it. We are speaking globally on that program of 4.2 billion euros, okay, in the period. And the pillar 2 of that program is the competitiveness and sustainability of the SMEs, okay? So there are different activities, okay? But one of them concretely is the new joint cluster initiatives, what we call the Euro clusters, okay? There are also another activity related to the European, the Enterprise Europe Network, okay? And there is some kind of encouragement to link with them, okay, from clusters with them, okay. Here you have the main purpose of the activities, okay, to support the businesses, in particular SMEs, to facilitate access to markets, to be favorable for business environments, to facilitate the development of and growth of those businesses, the competitiveness and sustainability of enterprises, world sectors of economy, fostering an entrepreneurial business environment and entrepreneurial culture, including through mentoring and mobility schemes. This is important, okay? So, about the joint cluster initiatives. Sorry, there is noise from somebody. Please, if you are not speaking, mute yourself. I think it could be Ekaterina. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we have some information on them. The idea is that the budget for those Euro clusters will be around 40 million euros for the first period, okay? The 35, if I remember well. There will be something like 30 Euro clusters funded, okay? The Commission announced that the call could be open around October this year, September, October, November at most this year, okay? So they will be launched in the first half of the next year for working for 3 years, the project. Here's where we start speaking about what are the current information that are not official, but could help us to start creating the best possible consortia, okay, to prepare ourselves, okay, for those goals, okay. So one general idea is that the Commission would like to have at least one Eurocluster by every one of the 14 industrial ecosystems defined as prioritary for the EU industry. Okay, perhaps Nina, could you look for one picture of the 14 ecosystem? That will be good. Okay, so if we speak about 30, at least one for every one of those ecosystems. So one possible option for those interested in creating a consortia would be to look at them and see if they are well positioned on one or several of them. Okay. There is also interest on reinforcing the linkages between ecosystems. For me, it's very clear, for example, that digital will be digital clusters, I would say, will be interested and interesting for many other of the consortia, okay, because it's not, as far as we know, okay, I insist, this is not official information. I want to remember you that I am not part of, we are not part of the European Commission, and we are speaking just under suppositions or information that is not official, I would say, okay. So the idea is to not to create Euroclusters that are purely sectoral, meaning only composed by entities participating in one ecosystem, okay? But facilitate the linkages between the ecosystem and other ecosystem or other realities, okay? For example, financing, okay? Investments, facilitating investment and so on, okay? So please be aware that the consortia should include other kind of entities, not only cluster and not only coming from the value chains or the industrial ecosystem that focus the consortia. Meaning there should be a focus, okay, but not so close in the approach, okay. That is one important idea, okay. So you should, the consortia should help the SMEs participating in the project, okay. The funding for the SMEs must be 75 of the total amount of the project. That means that if the project has a, I don't know, average amount of 1.5 million euros, okay, 75% of that quantity, something like 1,125,000, should go directly to the SMEs that take or present projects to that consortia. Okay, the rest of the amount, you know, is for the management of the project and for the consortium itself. Okay. So in that part is related to very similar to the in current INOSUB projects, INOSUB 1. Okay. You should support the SMEs on promoting the uptake of advanced technologies or new business models of more efficient on solutions. So they're very well known by now priorities of green, digital, and resilience. No, creativity and design, upskilling, reskilling, very important also. The attraction of talent, entrepreneurship, and internationalization. So as you see, there could be many different activities on this point, okay? They are right in the core. There is a possibility for us to recommend, I would say, I don't know if influence, but we could for sure recommend the Commission's several focus, okay? We are on time to doing it. At least from the European Cluster Alliance, we could and can write a document and present it to the DG Group. So that is something that we could discuss today also, okay? as I said, we should not close too much the consortia to one specific focus, okay? So think broadly, okay? For sure, you will need to include partners for several countries as usual, and try to mix both those more advanced in several areas and those not so much advanced. It would be good, very important, also to try to link in the consortia with other kind of networks, meaning it doesn't imply that they should be included in the consortia, but perhaps you could create a plan with actions to reinforce your collaboration with the European Enterprise Network or with the digital innovation hubs. And very important, align your actions with the S3 thematic platforms, okay? So that is also something to have in mind, okay? Link yourself is similar to also to internship, okay? Link your proposals with the rest of the initiatives that the European Commission has at the regional, national, or international levels, okay? As well with the Erasmus Plus program, okay? That will be my summary, my brief presentations, and now I will open the floor for questions and comments from you. Who is the first? Somebody speaks, please.
Yes, Antonio, I can have a question to you to start the discussion. How do you see the roles of inter-clusters and the sharing of projects between different and complementing clusters in order to try to reinforce these opportunities that we are going to have in the future?
Sorry, I'm not sure that I understood the question.
And the question, Antonio, is very simple.
For sure, the clusters are. This is a call for clusters, okay? Not only for clusters, but it's called Eurocluster. So for sure, this is a call for cluster, and we need to be there just to make it count and to make the best of that funding, okay, and to really provide excellent services and help to our SMEs. We need to grow. In base, this is the first call, so we need to make it a big success and make it grow in the future. No more questions. We will close very soon, if not. Okay.
Hello, Antonio. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
This is Rui Tocha from Portugal Clusters.
Hi, Rui.
I was listening to you, and I was wondering, how do you plan to organize our contributes for support this call near the European Commission? Should we send to you, or there will have some groups to work on it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rui. It depends on you. If you think that it makes sense to create a group to elaborate a position paper on this, for me it will be perfect. Okay, if there are cluster managers involved or interested in creating that working group and write a documentation recommending the focus for that call, why not? That will be perfect. If there is not enough mass or critical mass to create the working group, you could send me the suggestion and we will make a final document with them. Yeah. Isabel.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I don't know if I'm right, but if you imagine that you have the budget of a total budget of 1.5 million euros, that's mean we don't have much to work on the elaboration of a program, only 325 kilo euros for the consortium, which is not much for 3 years. I'm a bit surprised of this a new InnoSub framework, because it's very difficult to work with this amount of money. So I don't know if you have any idea of what's the idea of the Commission, and why do we have such a small amount of money to work on this, I would say, strategic item.
Yeah, you are right. It's not. It's not. It's not a lot of money, okay, for sure. And we were surprised also when we received the first news on those amounts. We were thinking about the line of the InnoSub projects, but you are totally right. It's not so much money, and we need to optimize the effort and the consortia and the proposals. We could think on how to best take that money, put that money at work, okay? But it's not so simple, no? Yeah, you are totally right.
And
but
perhaps
it's
the
true,
idea...
it's true, sorry, it's true, Isabel, that I will say that this is a kind of seed money or seed action, meaning I think that in the future, those Euroclusters will be very important, not only for this first period, but also for the building of ulterior activities over the ecosystem and so on. So I hope that the Eurocluster could be the because the idea in my mind is that they should not disappear after finishing the project. And in fact, I think that will be most probably that will be one of the requests in the evaluation of the projects, no? That you should create one structure that will remain after the end of the project, that will structure or organize the collaboration across the value chain of the industrial ecosystem. So I hope that based on that Euroclusters, you could go for other kind of calls or opportunities coming from other areas of the European Commission or the countries or the regions.
Okay, I see. Thanks, Antonio.
You are very welcome. Thomas.
Yes,
welcome.
Hi, Antonio. Thank you. I would like to deepen this question, because I have a draft work program for the COSME project, including this Euroclusters call. And there is actually a total budget of 42 million euros, but for 4 years. So only 14 million for the first year, for 2021. And in the table, which is just above the distribution of the budget, is said indicated number of contracts is 30. In the same table, where for 2021 is given only 14 million euros. So we interpreted this that the project budget is only something like 460,000 euros and not 1.5 million, because we saw that it was 30 projects for 14 million in 2021. And with 460,000 euros, of which 75% have to be given to SMEs, it's leaving nothing for project consortia for the clusters. So this is impossible to do.
No.
So what's the right interpretation?
No, I think this is not correct. Okay, I understand the interpretation, because I made the same assumption the first time that I read the draft. No. they have accumulated, or they will accumulate the funding for the 4 years that you have in the draft in the same call. So you should take the 42 millions, something like that, okay, and put them together for the 30 projects. You know, they will not make a call every year. They will make a call for the 30 projects at the end of this year, and there will be no new call until 4 years later, something like that. 3-4 years later.
And that means that something like 10 projects will start in 2021, and then something
No,
like
30. All, as far as I understand, all the 30 projects will be launched beginning next year.
Okay.
But the budget is split by year, you know.
Okay.
It's what I understand. It's
Yeah,
I
it's not clear at all.
I could be wrong, but I think that's the way that I understood it. Okay.
Okay.
So all the budget is in the same package. There will be only one call now. It could be another call in 4 years or in 3-4 years. Okay, but for this first draft of the budget, there is one call this year, and all the projects will be launched beginning next year.
Okay, with approximately 1.5 million euros per budget per project.
A little less, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Thank you to you. Clodak, morning, welcome. I don't know if you can speak, Clodak.
Good morning, Antonio.
Hello, good morning, good morning. I cannot hear you. Your sound is far, far away. Sorry, very, very far. No. Sorry. I will read your question, okay? Is there a continuous connection platform to discuss and coordinate on applications? Not yet. The idea was or is that the ECCP should have opened some fora, okay, and we didn't want to create alternative fora to the ECCP. So we haven't opened them, okay. But for sure, it's a, I will say, near a need, okay. So we can create something like that, okay. As a global and neutral entity, it makes sense for us, for ECA, for the European Cluster Alliance, to facilitate the creation of those consortia and to facilitate that the consortia are as strong as possible and inclusive. So yes, we are thinking on it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. More questions or comments? You have in the screen the 14 industrial ecosystem. Okay. You know that they are the center of the new EU industrial policy. Okay, and it's good if you plan to focus your activity in any of them. It's good for you to look at all the information that has been released lately by the European Commission on every one of them, and to also be watching, okay, the new information that will be released soon. Okay, we will have a meeting of the EU Industrial Forum very soon, in some days this month, and I presume that after the meeting, some information will be also released. So I would suggest, especially for those of you that are part of a network, it could be automotive or it could be cyber network of your region. So I would suggest to start thinking about how to compose those specific proposals for every one of the networks. Okay. I don't know if there is any doubt related to this. We are at your disposal also if you need or would like to look for partners, okay, or for your consortium, your initiatives on some European countries that you at this moment you don't have with you don't have a relationship with. Okay, so if you are looking for, I don't know, somebody, we have Clodagh here, okay, in Ireland, we will for sure reach for Clodagh and other contacts there and try to facilitate you the best possible recommendation on that area. So take it in account. Any question, any comment on this? No? If not, we will close the session, okay? Because I don't want to be here just stating information that is not really critical for you. How could we help you in building those consortia?
Antonio, if you allow me, good morning.
For sure. Good morning.
I'm Gabriela from Clustero, Romania. Did you know that the practical way to build such Euroclusters? It is about, I don't know, it's not national clusters, but European clusters. So I assume that this is a kind of consortium made on these 14 industrial ecosystems. So
yes,
how we can build such Euroclusters?
okay, as far as I understand, it will depend of the call on the what they call evaluate as more important. Okay, but there are several possibilities. Okay, on those kind of criteria. Okay, for example. It could be that the evaluation takes in account the creation of shared infrastructure for SMEs, or you could identify strategic challenges, okay, for the ecosystem, try to solve it then, okay, through the project, okay. It could be about capacity building. Or it could be that you support through your project the implementation of the S3 priorities across the platform, the S3 thematic platform related to your project. Could be, why not? Okay. So there are many possibilities. What is for sure important is to know the priorities of the European Commission this year, and in general speaking, the priorities of the European Commission, and align your proposal with what are at the end the real priorities of the SMEs, of the companies, of the cluster members, with those of our policymakers. Okay. But so I don't have any concrete question about how to best do it. Okay, it will depend of the call. But from my point of view, you should start exploring. You should start thinking about what kind of form. I don't know. It could be one industrial ecosystem, one value chain. For that concrete value chain, C. Okay. You remember that some weeks ago we have a meeting with the cluster related to the sea. Okay, imagine that there is one initiative on that area. Okay, what would be the real priorities? Okay, what kind of projects could make sense to develop for our SMEs working on the sea that could help them to build capacity, strengthen their presence on international markets, upscale and reskill the task force. That's the kind of question, and look for the best partners to do it.
Thank you very much, Antonio.
From Jaime. So I will say, that the national networks and EAAC for sure could be of help. Sorry, there is noise from Schubert. Okay, we can help. It's part of our wish and job. Okay, to help. But the main point is to choose the right focus for the consortia. There is also questions about if we think about what can we do at this moment. I'm returning to the idea of making recommendations to the European Commission, especially for those of you that has experience on cascade funding. Okay, it will be good to think about the kind of activities that we could suggest to the GROW to be financed as grants for SMEs. Okay, so it could be that we because they are writing it and they could take our suggestions. Okay, so we could suggest to use vouchers, okay, for the SMEs, support cross-sectoral activities, use of a mixture of soft loans or a supporting mechanism. We could support the conversion of product lines for making them more flexible, or we could support the purchase of resources from outside the consortia, or I don't know. What kind of actions as financing scheme would you like to support for your SMEs? Okay, that's important. And what kind of lesson learned are we taking from the current InnoSoup project? So what kind of actions or mistakes should we avoid? Okay, those especially those with experience, okay, in the InnoSoup project. It will be good if we receive your feedback on that. Okay, what kind of schemes complicate the results of the projects? I don't know if somebody has one comment on that point. No?
Antonio?
Yes.
Antonio? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Sorry for the
Sonsoles,
for
welcome.
sure noise in the background. I'm traveling. I didn't want to miss another session. Two things. One is how long or how much time do we have to submit those suggestions? And secondly, if we have a list of necessities of SMEs, could we beforehand or before that deadline, like organize a session in which the group like brought up ideas that they need in their inner circle, in their clusters or ecosystems, so we put together and also identify potential projects, not only suggesting the funding lines, but also already start working on proposals that we can do within the group.
We don't have a concrete agenda for sending the suggestion, but I will say that it will be good to have then in, I don't know, 2-3 weeks at most, because if not, it could be too late. And about the possibility to, I'm not sure because the sound was quite poor, okay, but I'm not sure if I have understood very well you, but about the possibility to create specific meetings with the SMEs.
No, it was, I'll repeat. Let me know if you can hear me better now. What I said is that if we have, that I'm sure we have a lot of ideas, real ideas to support SMEs, that we not only can bring to this drafting of the funding, but also help to establish potential collaboration with them as to submit proposals. And then I was suggesting that putting together those ideas, those needs that we have identified in reality, and that are a necessity for the SMEs. So it would be great if they could have that support and put those ideas, those needs in common beforehand to get two objectives. One, suggesting the lines of funding, and second, identifying potential partners within our group.
That's perfect. If it's perfect. It makes sense for us. Okay, it's the kind of things that make sense for the European Cluster Alliance to be the voice of clusters, meaning to be constructive in our suggestions. Okay, and to express the reality of the best ways to support our members, the cluster members on the companies across Europe. Okay, so I like the idea, not only as you said, but to this call, but to other calls. So if we are able to develop a document suggesting how to improve the support for the SMEs in the different schemes and projects, perfect, makes sense. But we need to move. Okay, this is a good moment because they are in the writing process for the calls. They have the general budget, okay, but they are writing the calls. So yes, we should not be slow, but yes, perfect if we are able to do it, and we can create a shared document or share a space for those interested in contributing to it. And if there are, as I said at the beginning, if there are enough critical mass, we could create also even a working group on it, for sure. That would be good for us. So thank you. More
good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, good morning, Antonio. Marielle Campanella from Pôle SCS. I can provide you maybe more than comments, at least a testimonial on the work we have done in the IoT for Industry project. which was a Cascade Funding 1, funded below the InnoSup 1 call. And this project was coordinated by the Pôle SCS and finished at the end of last year. And it was focusing, as the title of the project is, on the deployment of IoT solutions in Industry 4.0 context. So the goal here was to support the creation of a small consortia between SMEs, both from the digital world and the industrial world, on a cross-border basis. From our experience, I would say that we do underline the fact that such funding mechanisms are extremely efficient for mobilizing SMEs and for supporting them in having access to European fundings in a very agile way, because the open calls managed in that way were extremely efficient and straightforward for the SMEs without having too much administrative weight on their shoulders, nor too much reporting, for a budget which are reasonable enough and quite, let's say, enough for deploying proof of concepts, prototypes, and demonstrations. So this is the first very good feedback that we have. On the other hand, we do advise not to complicate things too much for SMEs. So really to avoid multiplications of different types of vouchers, of funding schemes, and so on. The simpler it is, the better it is for us as cluster to get the attention of SMEs and to have the possibility to explain that in simple terms what is about and what are the interests for them. And this is why for us, matchmaking plus vouchers for funding activities such as demonstration, pilots, and so on were extremely efficient. On the other hand, with what we can see now and what is going maybe to happen in the next coming calls and so on, we do have some concerns on the possibility to replicate such funding schemes in terms of available budgets. Because, for instance, in the InnoSup 1 calls, most of the big InnoSup 1 projects had a budget in the range of 5 million euros. So 75% of them going to the SMEs via FSTP, via funding schemes. And in this Euro cluster, this joint cluster initiative, I do see that there are indeed some FSTPs that are available that could be made. However, the budget envelope is much lower. So we are really wondering to which extent this can have a significant impact on the SMEs, if at the end of the day, the open calls will be only for very few SMEs compared to the reach that we have been able to have in IoT for industry, for instance. That's it.
You are right. 1/3 of the SMEs.
Exactly.
Or we lower the quantity to be given by every one of the tickets. Okay, but yes, you are right. We need to optimize it. What will be a possible mistake in the approach? You spoke about the possibility to make it simpler. Okay, would you highlight any other possible mistake in the approach to the projects?
Well, one of the advantages of the InnoSup 1 was that it was even very open in terms of subjects, in terms of ecosystems, in terms of market applications, and so on. And sometimes it was even maybe too much opened, because everything could have been imagined in terms of subject of topics. While here in the Euro cluster, I can see that it relies on these 14 ecosystems which are here on the screen. So from my point of view, this is more a positive aspect. From my point of view, what lacks details maybe is what this FSTP would aim at. Is it only for funding, namely to give money and to give grants to the SMEs? Or is it for providing them services, which type of services, and so on? I understand that the door is relatively open, which could be good or not good, depending on the way you would like to approach it.
Yeah, you're right. It's open, but please don't forget that there are priorities related to sustainability, green,
yes,
and resilience. focus on every one of them. So it's not so much open as we could think, because
yes. In our side, we are maybe I forgot to introduce that point, but we are a cluster specialized in digital technologies. So this is really the baseline of our activity, which is one of the key aspects of this program, together with eco-sustainability. So we are not related to any industrial market, I would say.
So you are open for many of those ecosystems.
Many applications, yes, indeed. Almost all of them actually have implications with digital activities at, of course, very different levels of maturity. But this is part of the game. Voilà. It's just to underline, to provide my testimonial and our.
Merci beaucoup, Maria.
De rien, Antonio. It's a pleasure.
Okay. Any other comment, question? I think it's a very good recommendation. Try to keep it simple, but these are competitive goals. So one risk is to try to do everything with very limited resources. But as I will also suggest to start working on the linkages with those other networks and those other initiatives that were mentioned. So if you are interested in one specific idea, you should look for the resources that are working in that same focus, or from the European Enterprise Network, or from the S3 thematic platforms, or even from the site of the Erasmus Plus programs, and start creating the linkages, or the, I will not, I insist, it's not a question of having them in the consortia. It could be that way or not, but at least relate with them. I think it will be the recommendation. Okay. Last opportunity. If not, we will close the webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much for attending. I see that there are interest. We are here to help you, okay? And also to encourage you to create those very strong consortia and make the best of this opportunity. Thank you very much. See you soon, I hope, the next sessions.
Thank you, Antonio. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Antonio. Bye.
Bye-bye.